What's up, guys? Dr. Uz here from the Dr. Uz Talks YouTube channel. And thanks to everybody who's watching the videos, commenting, all that kind of stuff. There will be more, but you know, hopefully subjects that you guys actually like to conversate about. It is cold today in the UK, so you're probably going to be seeing some condensation coming out when I'm in this cold car. But I wanted to talk to you guys today about the F-16 situation to Ukraine, right? And it's quite funny because basically I don't know if you guys have listened to any of my previous videos. In one of the previous videos, I said that I wanted to be a fighter pilot when I was growing up. And because of that, I've always loved like fighter planes, always kind of followed them in the news, all that kind of stuff, all the latest developments. Had models of the Tornado and the B-2 bomber, stuff like that. I used to make those and have those around my room. Anyway, I've always kind of followed this this stuff, right? And it always sounded a little bit weird when people were saying that, you know, we want to get F-16s going to Ukraine, right? Because the F-16 is a fantastic plane, right? But it was put up on this pedestal where it was just like, if we get this, man, we're gonna decimate the Russians. We're gonna absolutely annihilate the Russians, right? We're gonna push them right back to Moscow, basically, by doing it. And I don't want this to come across as if I'm some kind of, you know, Russian shill. I'm not. I'm just kind of I have this thing in my head that basically, if you're going to supply arms to your troops and stuff like that, that at least give them something worthy for them to actually like to give them a chance, right? Don't send them out there with like really bad equipment, you know, terrible kind of things that they have to use, and pretty much send them to their deaths. That's the one thing that really just bugs me about these kind of modern these modern wars and stuff. For some reason they send these young guys out and they're basically just to their death, which I just honestly can't stand it. But basically, when it comes to the F-16, right, there are some countries in the world who are rich enough to have their own fighter programs, right? France obviously is one of them. UK used to have one of them, and then we had the Eurofighter and joined with the rest of Europe. Obviously, you've got China, Russia, etc. All the other countries in the world, pretty much, what they do is they go and buy planes from, you know, one of the big other manufacturers, either in USA or in Russia, or even China now, and they'll basically buy one of those planes there from one of those countries, and then use that in a slightly modified way for their own military. So when they were talking about having F-16s going to Ukraine, right, it was like, okay, are they sending them the newest version of the F-16, which I think is called the Block F or something, or are they sending them the old versions of the F-16? Now, the thing is that when these bigger militaries are selling planes to these other smaller countries for their militaries, those planes are usually downgraded. And the reason being is obviously they don't want a technological advantage to happen from that other country that they're selling the plane to, right? So, you know, they're obviously selling very downgraded versions there to Eastern Europe. Poland, you had Belgium has got some of them there as well. You know, the Netherlands have got some of them there as well. And I found that it was very much like when you had the Russian planes, the Su-35s, which is their newest one, which, even though it's an older airframe, is going to have the latest avionics, the latest missile systems that are attached there to it, the latest radar, etc., right? You've got the Russians who have got that, and then you've got the planes that are being given to Ukraine, which are gonna be downgraded to some degree. And there was an article that I saw there the other day, which is the reason why I kind of thought of this video, that really proves the point of what F-16s they actually gave to Ukraine, right? So the F-16s that they gave to Ukraine are so downgraded that they are the original F-16, you know, 1980s avionic based planes, right? So they are so bad, okay, and they're so old that they have zero chance against the Su-35s, right? And what's happening is that the Ukrainian, the head of the Ukrainian Air Force is like, we're just struggling. You know, these planes are so old and their avionics are so poor that we're absolutely no match for a Su-35. Now, me as an absolute layman who has a slight interest in these kind of things, when they were talking about giving F-16 to Ukraine, it was like, wait a second, which one are you going to give, right? Because F-16 is a great dogfighter, okay? But the Russians are not going to be dogfighting all the time. They're not dumb. They may just have, you know, crazy ideas in terms of taking over the world and stuff like that, you know, the Eastern Europe and things, but they're not dumb. They're not going to go and try and dogfight with an F-16, because an F-35 is going to struggle dogfighting with an F-16. So they're going to, you know, they're going to go and try and get these planes there from very far out. They're going to be, you know, using their radar systems to detect them and just be knocking them down. In addition to this, there's absolutely no way, right, that these countries are going to be giving the best possible F-16 to Ukraine, because what if Russia shoots one down, right? What if Russia shoots one down in Russian territory, recovers it, takes all the avionics out of it, and is like, right, okay, we can now use this to upgrade our planes, reverse engineer everything. So what they basically did was they took their most crappiest F-16s, right, that they had, the most garbage ones that they had from the 80s, right? Which is still better than Sudan's Air Force, for example, or Peru's Air Force, but it ain't better than the Russian Air Force. And then take it over there and then are like, oh, you get on with it, right? You get on with it. And the Ukrainian pilots, unfortunately, are struggling because they are literally no match for this Su-35. Now, my little conspiracy theory about this is what happened was, these countries wanted to offload these old planes anyway. They're hard to maintain now. They're nearly 40 years old airframe. You know, to upgrade them there to the newest blocks there is difficult. And you've got countries around the world there that are bringing out Gen 5 planes. And even according to China, a Gen 6, I don't know how true that is. But, you know, Gen 5, Gen 6 planes, and you're working on a barely Gen 4 plane that was made in the 70s and upgraded throughout the 80s, right? So like I said, my conspiracy theory was that these countries wanted to offload those F-16s anyway. So they're like, here we go. We can go and make it look like we're giving Ukraine a big favor. You know, our parliament's going to be, and our people are going to be like, yeah, look, we're helping Ukraine. Look, we're, you know, so great people. We're helping Ukraine. We're giving them these amazing F-16s that is going to turn the tide in Russia, right? And the Russians are probably looking at it like, you know, there was a lot of news reports that came out around the time where these Su-35 pilots were like, yeah, we're just going to shoot them down. And I saw these reporters who are just like, oh, yeah, the Russians are just giving it bluster. It's going to turn the tide, etc. But these Su-35 pilots know what they're doing. They know that they can just shoot these things down. And obviously, they're not going to give them the best possible F-16 so that, you know, they can basically go and reverse engineer it. So now they're just literally no match for these Su-35s, and they're going back to base when they come in contact with these Su-35s. Now, when the Su-57s come out, it's going to be even worse, right? So I think that this whole thing of giving these F-16s to Ukraine was basically just a whole propaganda stunt, right? It was just there just to say to them, look, we're helping you out. Here you go, right? Tricking the Ukrainian people into thinking, oh, we're really, really helping you out with these amazing new planes that is going to turn the tide, giving them false hope that they're going to beat Russia with these planes there as well. While also at the same time, like what happens with all these powerful countries, when all is said and done, these Ukrainians are going to be so grateful, they're going to give us most of their natural resources afterwards, right? And yeah, look what's happening. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think about that. I don't know. I think it's all a bit of a joke, really. Until next time, guys. See you then.